Is China committing environmental crimes in the South China Sea? John McManus, a professor at the Rosenstiel School of the University of Miami, discusses the environmental damage to the South China Sea, China's role, and the chances for an ecological recovery. The Philippines has accused China of using cyanide to catch fish at the disputed Scarborough Shoal. That joins a lengthy list of China's environmental crimes in the South China Sea, from turning disputed reefs into artificial islands through dredging and land reclamation work, to clam harvesting techniques that destroy entire coral reefs. In this interview, John McManus, a professor at the Rosenstiel School of the University of Miami, discusses the environmental damage to the South China Sea, China's role, and the chances for an ecological recovery. Cyanide fishing is not good, but it's far down the list in terms of ecologically harmful practices in the South China Sea, McManus explains. Dredging and the use of propellers to harvest giant clam shells, along with worldwide ocean temperature rises, have done far more damage to the coral reefs in the region. On other media, South China Sea, China slams Philippines-U.S. joint military actions. China has slammed the joint military actions by the Philippines and the United States in the South China Sea. The Philippines Coast Guard in early February claimed that Chinese vessels disregarded international rules on preventing collisions at sea. In response, Defense Ministry spokesperson Zhang Gang said on Thursday the differences with relevant countries should be managed through dialogue and consultation. Zhang Gang spokesperson China's Ministry of National Defense recently, the Philippines has enlisted countries from outside the region to hype up the situation in the South China Sea. The so-called joint military exercises and joint patrols have seriously violated the spirit of the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the South China Sea and jeopardized regional peace and stability. The actions have run counter to the efforts of regional countries to maintain peace and stability in the South China Sea. The United States is not a party to the South China Sea issue and should abide by its commitment to not take a position on the issue. The U.S. should stop its malicious behavior of interfering and stirring up trouble. The relevant remarks made by the Philippines are purely confusing and maliciously hyping up tensions. Philippine Coast Guard ships have repeatedly intruded into the waters adjacent to China's Hualien Island illegally. China has taken measures such as warnings, expulsions, and water route control in accordance with the law. China's on-site handling is reasonable, legal, professional, and restrained. China has indisputable sovereignty over the Hualien Island and its adjacent waters. We urge the Philippines not to act arbitrarily and cause trouble. China will continue to carry out law enforcement operations in its waters and resolutely safeguard national sovereignty and maritime rights and interests.